Hi everybody, it's Lace, and so I wanted to do a video about how to use the Heraldry Blazon generator. So you would log in to your account and go to your account page, and you're going to go under Special Rewards, and you're going to go to Update Heraldry Blazon, and it's going to give you some instructions. And basically you have two choices. You can upload an image, and from that you can probably get a lot of intricate detail, kind of like what you see here. If you want to have something that's really fanciful and stuff, and you're working with a lot of non-standard colors, and you're a good artist or have somebody draw something for you, there you go. For me, I'm not a great artist, so I actually used the builder to do mine, and I think it came out fairly good. There's some restrictions on uploading it, and again, you have to go through the approval process, which now, since it's open to more people, that could take a while. It wasn't too terribly long for the folks that were founders, but not all the founders got it in before it was open to the public, so they may find themselves in a a waiting queue or list or whatever. So just follow the instructions if you have something that you've drawn or sketched or snagged from the internet. That's one way. For how we're going to do it is we're going to use the Blazon builder. Now, before I dive into using the generator, I want to educate you on some things about heraldry in general. So one of the terms, or two of the terms that are used a lot, are the words Dexter and Sinister. So if you see this, you can see Dexter's to the left side, which is actually the bearer's right side. So the right hand side is Dexter, and quote unquote the left hand side is Sinister. I know we're looking at it facing forward, but it's based on the wielder or the wearer for this stuff. And if you think about it, Sinister, a lot of left-handed people were condemned in ages past. To be left-handed was sinister. You can think of it that way. So that's why. Now again, we're looking at it head on, so Sinister's on the right, but think of Sinister as left-handed people and they're evil. Hey, I don't think they're evil. My mom's a lefty. It's made life difficult for scissors and things like that, as I'm sure any of you left-handed viewers would know. So you can really just type in Dexter and Sinister in Google and find the Wikipedia and go ahead and read through it. I think it's pretty interesting, but those are the two basic terms. The other thing that I would look up on the Wikipedia is just the term Blazon, and understand what was going on here. If any of you guys watch like A Knight's Tale with Heath Ledger, I know that's not like historically accurate, but you know, he had a coat of arms, right? And when he was entering the list, which is the competition and stuff, you know, they were looking at his patent, which showed basically his heraldic history or whatever, and not only would it have his coat of arms that was displayed before he would go into matches and stuff, there's all that. You can read about that here. So I would just take the time just to kind of educate yourself and learn a little bit about a coat of arms. I know that there's a lot of former SCA players or SCA members that, you know, used to be in the SCA. Some still may be in the SCA. The SCA is the Society for Creative Anachronism, and they have a College of Arms where if you're going to be a you know, a fighter, whether it's they have archery, some places have even horse stuff. It's usually typically just like in A Knight's Tale, where it's put the lance through a ring. They're not jousting typically in most of the SCA because that's a little more dangerous. But the heavy arms and the archery, and then there's gosh, I've been out of it for a few years. There's heavy arms, there's archery, there's a few different types. Oh, the rapiers and stuff, the light weapons. Anyway, people will have bucklers or shields or banners or things around their encampments, typically with their coat of arms. And it goes through a whole approval process, much like what we're going through here. Now, we're not being as restricted as heavily and as detailed as the SCA, because they really go through and make sure it hasn't been used before. They go through all the histories and stuff. But it's meant so that your device aka your coat of arms, or whatever you're wearing or using on your shield and stuff, could technically be announced. So they don't say, Joe Blow from blah 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 is taking on, Sam somebody. It's typically they will call out actually the whole shield, everything that's on your device. For me, I can't remember how to say mine, and this is just bad on me, and I'm getting old and I can't remember. But I basically had a battle axe over a golden moon and 3 black stars, and I think that's pretty much the gist of my device. I know black, I remember black was sable and things like that. And when we get to the generator, you're going to see some unusual names for the colors. But that relates back to heraldry, like I'm familiar with from the SCA. I know Lord British was in the SCA, I was in the SCA, and if you dig really super deep on the forums, I think I posted some really old pictures of me from the SCA. I don't think I have my full set of leather armor, but yeah, I actually fought in leather armor in the SCA. A lot of people were in that metal because they hated getting hurt. To me, don't get hit and you won't get hurt. And I wore my share of bruises for sure in that leather armor, but again, it was just easier for me because I'm a smaller woman to move around in leather than in some bulky plate and stuff. Just meant don't get hit. Sword and board I liked a lot because it lessened my chance to get hit. Anyway, digressing. Oh, one more side note though. The SCA actually was started by a lot of writers and stuff from like Berkeley, people like Marion Zimmer Bradley, I think Paul Anderson or some of them, and they basically got together and were using garbage can lids and broomsticks and beating on each other just like you do as a kid, right? That's kind of how it started. I believe now we're in its 50 something year. It was in the 60s, I believe, is where it started in Berkeley, if I remember everything correctly. And they were using, garbage can lids, and that was their shield, and broomsticks. And look how that's evolved, where there are master armor builders today that support the SCA, and then, of course, the College of Arms. I know we're talking about the College of Arms, but I'm trying to give you a sense of a feel for the historic nature of what we're able to do in the game. So I would just take a little side quest here and go to Blazon, Dexter, Sinister, and it might lead you into some other things. And maybe if you build your device right, you can probably even look up how to announce it correctly, which says who you are. That's what a Blazon does. And here you can see some different things that it means, and I'm not going to go into everything about it. I'll let you do that on your own. So sorry to sidetrack you, even though you just want to know how to use a stupid generator. But I think it's important to understand what it is you're trying to convey. It's not just a picture of Daffy Duck on your shield. It's supposed to have a meaning, and that's also something to think about. You can go in there and start playing with the generator, or you can go in there and start drawing something, but try to think about what it is you want your pictorial representation to convey. For me, it was diamond fields. I wanted to do diamond fields, so I had a theme, and that allowed me to create what I want, and that's what we're going to go over now. Okay, so we're back to the Blazon generator, which again you access from logging in, going into your account, going into special rewards, and then update Heraldry Blazon, and then clicking the Blazon generator. Now you can see that there's all these predefined little pictures and stuff, and if you mouse over them, it'll say what it is. I'm playing on a pretty large screen, and so these are pretty tiny to me. Now I can hit Control and my mouse wheel, and of course I don't have as many across, but I can see them much easier. And when picking things out, this is what I, was doing to see what they were, that I could kind of see from far behind what they were. And these are what they're calling the ordinaires. It's like French, I think. Ordinaires. I don't know. I don't speak French. I speak a little Russian. That's about it. Well, Russian, Spanish, English. But anyway, so again, when I was saying have a theme in mind, so for me, I was wanting to do diamond fields. So the first thing I was doing is I was trying to see if there was a diamond in here. And there is. I think there it is. So, okay, so there's a diamond. So I select the diamond. Now the first thing that's going to happen, and I'm going to zoom this back out so I can see this a little better. Again, those went to small, but I found the one that I wanted. And you'll see it like this, and you're like, well, I don't like that, and stuff. So we talked about Dexter and Sinister. First thing you should do is just start learning what these things mean. Dexter, chief. Okay, Dexter is going to be on the left side, but it's the bearer's right. Sinister would then what? It would be on the opposite side. Base, okay, it's in the left, right. Sinister base. See how it's moving around? Dexter point is the center left. Sinister point then would be on the right there like that. Honor, the place of honor is up at the top. And think about this when you're trying to do your device. The thing that's probably most important, you might want at the top, or you might want overall, depending on what it is, what kind of theme that you're trying to do. So honor point is up there. So we could do diamond, right? And then I think we saw some trees up here. Let me zoom this out. This isn't the tree that I used, but I can pick. Oops. There we go. Trying to zoom this out here. Where's the tree? Now I lost the tree. Darn it. Yeah, like I said, I have to zoom in and out because I have old eyes. I lost my tree. Find me a tree. Bring me a shrubbery. What is this? Any old tree. Doesn't have to be the one that I used. I'm just looking here. Oh, that's the one I actually used. So now I have this tree. So now it's like overall. Well, I don't like that. What I wanted to do was do it from the bottom. So it's going to be number point puts it in the center bottom. Sinister, oh, number point, Sinister base, Dexter base. Okay, so I did Dexter base, and then I grabbed another tree, and I did number point, and I grabbed another tree, and I did Sinister point, or no, Sinister base, sorry. Sinister base, okay. My diamond, I'm actually, and I can go up here to select if I want to move what I'm doing. That diamond, then I did want it overall, actually. And I'm not doing colors or anything yet. I'm just trying to get the feel of, what I'm doing. I also wanted somehow to have some mining picks in here. So I picked a mining pick, and what I did was I put it into Dexter Chief, which is upper left, and then I wanted one in the upper right, so that's going to be Sinister Chief, and then I selected this and I rotated it so I can do it like this, and then I selected the other one and I rotated it back this way. And this is the actual device that I'm using for diamond fields. So you can see that you can get a lot of coverage of the overall design, and by rotation and things. I could have even gone in here and for whatever reason I could have taken this and rotated it if I wanted my tree, for unknown reasons, to be one of them upside down. That would be announced differently than 3 trees, blah, 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 however you would say it. This one would get a different notation. And going back again to the thing that we looked at on Blazon, these mean different things by where you put stuff. Now you don't have to, you don't have to, get as intricate as that, but you can tell a very specific story in how you're putting your items. So, and then again, I can go into the item. So this here, what color do I want it to be? Well, I think of black diamonds, right? I don't know. And plus black, everybody loves black. So I did a black diamond, but I didn't want the pickaxes to be black because I needed them to be different. So I used the gray, which is what? I can't see what that says. Gris. Gris is gray. I know this is sable. I remember black because, everybody loves black, so I always remember sable. And then I grabbed the other one and again also made it gris. For my trees, I grabbed the trees, and there was like beep, and I was like, ew, it looked too cartoonish to me. So I used a dark green, which is Viridian, and then I did the same thing with the other trees, and I made them all a dark forest green, or Kelly. I guess it's not Kelly green. I guess it's like more of a forest green or Kelly green's probably that color's, that one's probably Kelly green. Let's get this one. This is bothering me that he's turned wrong. Turn around, there's a tree. And there we go. Now you can't really see the colors because you're only seeing the color of the last thing you picked. You can kind of see it grayed out. So sometimes it's a little hard to see what the overall picture is. And that's my one complaint about the Blazon generator. But these are some of your basics of how you can maneuver things around. Now I'm going to show you some other stuff here in 1 second. Now we're going to get into the charges, but before we do that, let's pretend that I picked something and I was like, oh God, I don't want that. Now I can highlight this item, right, and select it and hit delete, and it goes away. But there seems to be something a little strange here, that the last item somehow doesn't get deleted all the time. I'm just going to go through this to show you what I'm talking about here. So you can see I have no tree to pick, but my tree's still here. All you need to do is just go to your browser and hit refresh. The refresh for that. I kind of got mine covered up right now. 1 second. Hit refresh, and if I hit refresh, it's basically going to clear out anything. So if you make a mistake and you get stuck with something on there that won't go away, it's something you can't select and it's not really there. There's like a ghost image from using this. So don't worry, you can just hit the refresh button to bring it right back. So the next thing to go into is what's called the ordinaires, and I think I talked about those a minute ago and had them mixed up. The charges are the symbols, the ordinaires are the divider lines. So I can pick one, right? But I'm not limited to doing that. Again, I can do this, I can reverse it, I can flip it around, I can rotate it and do all kinds of things. Remembering that this is quote-unquote honor point, I could have something up here, something here and here. So I don't know, I was messing around and shooting this video, and then due to some technical difficulties had to redo it. But what happened was I went in here and I grabbed the moon, and instead of position all over, I put it in Sinister Chief, so moon. And then I was doing like Moongate Travelers after I was like, oh, Moongate Travelers. So then I was like, oh, they have to have a tent, right? Because they're travelers. And so I put it over, where did I put it? Something like this. No, Dexter base. Sinister Cheat, no, Dexter point. No. Where did I put this? Dexter base. No, I didn't like that. Yeah, maybe that was it. And then they're travelers, so I don't know. I don't know what they would have here. Loot, beer. Didn't get this far. I don't know. We're just going to pick something weird. And we'll put that in Sinister Point or Dexter Point. So there we go. So Moongate Travelers. Just obviously not theirs, but they're talking about the moon. There might be a gate or fencing or something like here. I don't know. But they could segregate their message to define what they're saying. The other thing, going into these, I'm going to refresh this page and clear this out. The other thing is, going into these, one of the things that I thought we should be able to do is I could put one here, and then I could get another one and have it do like this, and have this up here, you know, red, and then something on it, and then segregate it, and even, you know, go so far as to, you know, put this in a fourfold thing. But you can only have one. So exactly what's the point of this triangle like this? I don't know. About the only thing you could do maybe with it is, let's see. Oops. I'm just rotating it around. But that's how the designer is. You know, I could do this, but that's going to look stupid. I don't know why I can't have a second one, but right now I can't, because if I pick another one, maybe somebody knows a trick that you could have two, you know, so that, I don't know, that I could have this cross-hatched or something. I don't know. So anyway, with the ordinaires, apparently you can only pick one at this time, but with something that as simple as a triangle or even a square, what if I wanted to have a square here? That's a small square. But what if I wanted to have a big square here and a big square here, where I'd have four obvious quadrants? You know, this one's red, this one's red, I have something here, something here, something here, something here. It looks like we can't quite do that with the generator. Hopefully they'll add some tech to do that, where you can have more than one ordinaire, because that is a common theme among true devices from medieval times, is to have this four squared like this. One other thing to get into with charges, and again I'm going to just clear this out by hitting refresh, is I hadn't talked about the issuant. So I've picked this sword, right? So now I can take this and I could do something like issuant from Dexter, which is going to be over there. And you can see I only get half the picture, but then I can get another sword, right? And issuant from a chief, or no, it wasn't chief, and then rotate, yeah, it was. And I can rotate it, and then I can get another sword, right? And issue it from Sinister, and then we can get another sword on here, and I can say issue it from base, and let's see, that one rotated that way, so we'll rotate this one this way. And now I've actually made a frame to where now I could then, you know, put a beer mug in the center or something, or whatever it was I wanted to do. Now I'm just using a sword, which is not uniform, but it gives you an idea, because some of these things are kind of uniform, where you could frame it out, or you could just do a top and a bottom or something, you know. But that's the issuant. Using those, I'm going to get rid of these real quick here. Actually, we'll just refresh, get rid of everything. Using some of these symbols instead of from the center and stuff, you'll still know what they are. Maybe justice scales might be a cool one to do issuant. I don't know. I've never done it. 1/2 of the justice scales. No, probably not. Didn't like that too much. But you can play around with some of these. Let's see. We got a star. Wonder what that looks like. That'd be another way to segregate your stuff, is using some of these as almost like borders and stuff. So think about that. That's just another little trick. Oh, the healer symbol. That might be kind of cool. Yeah, you kind of know what it is because you see the snake and the staff, or rod or whatever. So you could do like a healer one with this one, and let's see, let's get rid of the star. And I'm just trying to show you some ideas that you can use. And this one we'll do in a issuant from Dexter. Yeah, so you could have a cool symbol like that where it's in half, and then stuff through the center. So that's the other thing with the issuant. It basically is 1/2 the design coming from the top, bottom, or the sides. And using some of these symbols, you can do it. And of course, if you want to draw all this, you can. So I just kind of wanted to point that out. The other big consideration is color. The color that you make this, think about that this background, you're going to put this on tabards basically for your armor stuff, and those tabards are cloth and you can dye them. Well, you can't dye most of your leather, you can't dye your metal armor, you can't dye the tabard that's going over the top because it's quote-unquote cloth. So think about what background color you're going to use here, and your color here on top of this is going to dramatically change how your device looks. Now, I did my diamond for diamond fields. Let's see if we can find the diamond real quick here. There it is. So I did the diamond. Did I hit it? There we go. I did the diamond, and I did it in black. Where's black? Sable. So I did the diamond in black, and I wasn't quite sure how I was going to end up on a black background, and because it's outlined in white, it actually did work. If you look at these, they're outlined in different colors. Depending on what picture you take, your results may vary, but be mindful of what this background is going to be and how you want to do it. Also think about your color combinations. You might have a base black tabard and trimmed in red. So if it's trimmed in red, then perhaps trimmed in red, maybe I want this to be in red, and I want this one to be in red or something, because then it's gonna flow with the red trim of my cloak or tabard or whatever it's trimmed in. Now, not everything has trim, but anyway, it just be mindful of your colors, because if you screw up your colors here, submit it, get it approved, you're gonna have to pay again to do it. So it possibly is not a bad idea to do a control print screen capture of this, throw it in paint, and then use the fill properties in paint or something else to fill in what background color you think you're most likely to use this on. So I pasted the screen capture into paint, and that's just inside the generator. And if I do a fill, unfortunately, this outline isn't fresh. You can see this. It's gonna help me out a little bit, but I can't. This is because of the gray. The gray, it's not a solid color, so I can't quite see how it's gonna look exactly. It might give you an idea as a free cheap way to do this, but you can't quite see how it's really gonna look. So I hit the upload button and then hit save, and so I can kind of see it in that same place in my stuff. Now I don't want to check these boxes and save it and submit or anything like that, but I was trying to see if I could get a better look at what the colors are. But as you can see, it's only the last thing highlighted that I can see the true colors, so I can't even screen capture this and put it somewhere where I can see what it's going to look like with different backgrounds. I had the same problem as well, but I'm trying to make you aware of some of the issues that can arise since you can't quite vet it and see what it looks like with a different background color or anything, and you can't even see what all the color choices that you made were, not in the generator and not here. So that might be something you might want to feed back to Portalarium, that, you know, when it says current Blazon, can I please see all the colors that I've picked, not just the last thing that I touched. And keep in mind also, when I go to Blazon Builder again, it's gone. So that's why I said earlier, remember what things you used and if they were near the top, the middle, the bottom, so you don't have to search for them again, because when you make that change, you are going to have to redo everything you did. Now there's only 7 to 8 pieces, and you might just want to change color, but you're going to have to rebuild this thing. So you're going to get pretty proficient in knowing that you wanted something issuant, overall, honor, nombral, or what, you know, Dexter, Sinister, and things like that. You're going to learn those positions whether you want to or not using the generator. Now, I'm not disparaging the generator, because obviously I used it and was quite happy with my results, but I'm trying to show you some of the pitfalls and things that could make you unhappy, since you can't really pre-see what you're going to get well and understand how it's going to play off other colors, because of this whole nonsense of where this is gray and grayed and you can't see that true color and stuff. So just trying to make sure you're, you know, caveat emptor, buyer beware, and stuff like that with your colors. On a side note, once it's approved, you actually get to see your color. So here's where I was talking about the gray, gray, black, green, green, green. These are my actual colors, and I can see it. But that submission thing just doesn't show me the colors like we showed in the other thing. But once approved, you can see it. So you can view it on your account page on an approved version and stuff. So if only we could get this here. Again, you're going to need to feedback this so that this is an actual representation of this. Again, this looks kind of washed out and gray, but I had always planned for these to be gray and black and green. I wanted the dark colors. That was part of my design. Again, when you're in the Blazon Builder, and I'm just going to throw something on here like this, what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to hit upload, and I'm going to hit save, and I just wiped out those red stabs that I had in here, and when I see it, this is now what it is. I would check these things off. I would hit save and submit. Of course, I don't want to. Once you hit submit, honey, and that's it. You're going to have to pay for a voucher to change this. If you meant for this to be red instead of gold, you're going to have to pay to change it. So that's why it's very important that you're looking at this, but unfortunately, you can't, you can only see if I add a harp and, I don't know, put this over here. If I had a harp over here and I wanted this to be gray instead of gold, and this is gold, you know, or something, I can't see my colors exactly. They're washed out in this. And then when I hit upload again and save, again, unfortunately right now, as it stands in the preview, only the last item that I picked shows its true color. I can't see the overall colors. I can't screen capture this and do a fill to try to see what it's going to look like on a black cloak or a white cloak or a red cloak or a aqua cloak or anything like that. So there's a little bit of guesswork involved in this. And again, if we feedback, hopefully we can maybe get some things improved on this. But again, don't hit save and submit until you're sure that's what you want, because otherwise you're going to have to pay to change it. Now, of course, to alleviate all this, we go back to the upload image, and you know, where whatever your artwork is, that's what it's going to be. And obviously you can get very specific with your colors, more colors like I've said before and stuff, and you're not going to have any issues there. But if you're not an artist and you can't find something on the internet that's perfect, what do you call it, a clip art and stuff that you can paste together, you know, using something like Photoshop or something like that to get exactly what you want, your choice is to use the in-game generator. And again, I used it and it worked pretty good for me. I might eventually want to create some artwork, and this may be even something for you guys that are artists or willing to, if somebody can give you an idea of what they want and you have good clip art libraries, or you're, you know, able to, you know, you've got the draw pad and you're a great artist. I work with a programmer who was, he was so funny. He was a drill sergeant, artist, and programmer. I mean, that's pretty strange combination a little bit. Maybe not programmer and drill sergeant, but perhaps he was a former drill sergeant for the Army. Excellent artist. And I had him do some stuff for me for the company I was working with at the time. You know, real simple stuff, but he had the tools and stuff to draw freehand, you know, and stuff, and could draw just most magnificently. And damn it, I don't have his phone number and stuff right now. Actually, I think I do have his Gmail. Thought for myself to get the Diamond Fields logo perhaps done as a JPEG or something from him. But I'm actually pretty happy with the Diamond Fields one. That's not what we were looking at right now. This is a different account. And obviously the one that we were just looking at. But if you want something pretty complex, that's probably going to be your best way. But don't think you have to find an artist. Maybe you artists on the forums might want to, in the player marketplace, charge for your services. I don't know. It's a thought and stuff. If you want to put up a flyer in my POT that you do artwork, custom artwork, you know, I'll certainly put a bulletin board flyer up, and you never know, you might get some hits from it. Probably in-game gold is going to be your best bet rather than real-life money. I think you can find players that are willing to do that a little bit easier, where, you know, you guys work out the terms. It's just a thought. Again, just remember all these. It must be this size, can't be over so many megabits and stuff if you're doing the freehand. But if you want something very specific, that's one way to go. And also, with it being done freehand, you'll have the ability to do a fill with the background color and be able to preview it in certain different backgrounds, and then think about the trim on your heraldry cloaks and stuff, or background color on a shield or something like that. That's the great thing, is you can background fill your shields. You can't dye shields, but you can background fill them. I'm using the standardized like light aqua blue because I think it just kind of makes my thing pop. Your results may vary and stuff. Also, one other thing, note processing takes 24 hours or so. But that's just the first part. Then the next part is you have to put it into the approval. So remember, you're going to have to go back to your account page perhaps a couple times, if I remember right. And what else? Okay, so it's all basically here. There's good and bad for using the generator. There's good and bad for using freeform artwork. Just remember, no. I think some of the rules are there. I think I don't know if all the rules are here. I think if you go to the forms and the links here, there's things like you can't have words, you can't have letters. Basically, they don't want you to spell out "suck my penis" and stuff in Latin or anything like that. You're not going to be able to get away with that. So basically, to make sure they don't have to vet every Latin word or any foreign language or anything, no letters, no words. I don't think even any numbers. And again, that's if you freeform it or freeform it with a PNG or something. So I hope this helps everybody understand different ways they can get their heraldry. The Blazon builder is obviously going to be the one that you should play around with because it's free and you can use it. And there's quite a lot of choices, and you can see how you can overlay things, and there's not an issue of the pictures blurring or anything. It worked very well for me. It probably will for most people, but if you want to get super specific, well, then you're going to have to go the PNG way. Take care, everybody. Happy hunting, and be safe.